ladies, it's Dawn. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, my name is Dawn and I'm a 55-year-old woman here in the mature beauty community, and I invite you to hit that subscribe button and stick around. So it's spring, ladies, in case you don't know. Well, depending on where you live, it's spring here and everything is blooming and the sun is shining more, and I am just loving it. I'm totally here for it. I love seeing the tulips. I love seeing the robins back. We have this nest in my bush in my front yard, and I was noticing it. It's kind of stuck in the middle of a big bush, and I could see the nest before the leaves started to come out on the bush, and I wanted to see if there were any eggs in it or if it was an old nest or a new nest. So I took my iPhone and I stuck my hand into the bush and snapped a picture, and it was just the most beautiful nest, but it was empty. So I thought, oh, it looks so perfect. I don't know if it endured a Chicago winter. So I wondered if it was a new nest or just a nest that has been vacated from last year. So a couple days later, I did the same thing. I stuck my phone in there and took another picture, and there was one egg in the nest, the bright blue robin's egg that just makes us all so happy. And so then I started to wonder whether or not robins lay all their eggs at once, or if they come and lay an egg at different times, because there was only one, and I thought, is there only going to be one baby bird, or are there going to be more? So a couple days later, I did the same thing, stuck my hand in the bush and snapped a picture, and there's 4 eggs. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that answers my question. I kept meaning to Google it and never got around to it, so my question was answered. And so then I waited about 3 days. I started to see the mama bird, so I was just very careful to not mess at all with the nest. So I waited a few days, and then I took another picture, and it looks like just the very beginning of maybe some action going on with the baby bird inside the egg. And today is going to be another day that I'm going to check the nest when the mama bird isn't there and just see if there's any baby birds. I just love watching the whole process. And if you've been following me, you may recall I went through a really serious depression. It was serious a couple of years ago. And it was weird because I think it was multifactorial, because we had just gotten through COVID, that whole shutdown thing. My dad got sick, and that has been a big change in our family. So that happened. Then my dog, who is 15 years old, died. So that happened. And then my youngest son was going to college. And so it was just all these things hitting me at once. I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, menopause, of course. So that happened too. So it was all these things, and I've never been depressed like that in my life. I keep thinking back. I've always been a really happy person. I actually remember about 10 or 15 years ago thinking to myself, when was the last time I cried? And I couldn't remember. I was just like, I don't know. I can't cry. Even when I'm watching a sad movie, I thought it was the weirdest thing. I'm like, am I like a sociopath? Why am I not crying? But I couldn't remember the last time. I was just so happy. And it has been a joy for me raising my 4 kids. I've loved every moment of it. I just cherish my family so much. And I always say we're kind of reclusive as a family. And what I mean by that is that my kids and my husband and our outside family, there's so many of us because my husband's the youngest of 12, and I only have one sister, but my parents are still with us, and he doesn't have his parents anymore. So anyway, that's neither here nor there. But our family has always been a really busy family, and we spend a lot of time together whenever we have time. So we've had friends, and of course I have girlfriends, and my kids have had friends and best friends, and they still do. But as a family, we aren't the kind of family that socializes a lot with our neighbors. I know my neighbors, and we're very friendly and good neighbors, but when my kids were in school, and you're kind of forced, not that you're forced in a bad way, but you're sort of into sports and activities, and you're interacting with neighbors and things like that. And you go to like banquets at the end of a season and things like that, or somebody might have a barbecue before prom, that kind of thing. But other than that, we sort of just stick with our family. That's like our tribe. And so there's been a lot of changes in that too, because I have so many nieces and nephews, and they're all growing up. They're grown, and some of them are even having babies of their own. Like, I'm a great aunt. My beautiful niece Abby, so on my husband's side, so I would say my husband's niece, but we've been married 27 years, so she's my niece. And I've known her since she was a tiny baby, and she just had a baby, and we went to her first birthday party. So it's like, it's a new era for us. But it didn't force me. I fell into a major depression to the point that I was crying constantly. I would wake up every morning with dread. It was horrible. I was in so much pain, and I know suicide is never an answer, but that's how bad my depression was. And so I did all the things, because I'm a nurse, I did all the things that you're supposed to do. I started going out more, because a lot of times things shut down during COVID. So I stopped going to my Bible study during COVID. Well, it was kind of shut down and on Zoom. So I wasn't seeing my ladies on a regular basis. And so when that ended, I got back into my Bible study. I actually joined a care group at my church. And that was fine. It was the weirdest thing, though. This is obviously a chatty video, so we'll see where this video goes. But that was a weird thing, because I went on, it was like a Wednesday evening at 6:30, and it was a care group for anxiety and depression. And I thought, I need to go to this. So I started going, and all the ladies that were there had been there together for like 5 years. And it wasn't really, it was sort of like a lot of people just kind of complaining about their lives, which is fine. I wanted to complain about mine too, and I probably did. But it got to a point where I was sadder after I got home and the next day, and my husband's like, I was just crying constantly. It was terrible. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. My poor husband. So he was like, maybe that's not the best group for you. And I said, well, I'm going to keep going just to see. I've got to do this. So I kept going. And then one day we had this horrible thunderstorm that started right about the time that I was leaving for my group. I was all ready to go. And some of the ladies texted and said, we're not going. And I thought that was smart, so I didn't go either. And then the next week, something came up, something with my son's school, like an end of the year thing, and I had to go to that. So I texted and said that I wasn't going to come, and nobody ever texted me back. And I know I have the right text, because it was the text thread that we all use, and people have responded to my text. So I thought, that's weird. So then the following week, I just didn't go. And then I haven't gone back, and not a single person checked on me. And I shared in the group, I shared about myself and what I was going through. So it wasn't like I sat there and didn't say anything. So it was just the weirdest thing, and it was not what I needed. But then I joined a knitting group and learned how to knit with these women from church, and that was fun. I did learn how to knit. So that was really fun. And it didn't get me out of my depression, but at least I was doing things. So what did I do next? I don't know. I was just trying to be around people. And I thought that's the answer. So I kept trying to be around people. And I started like eating right and exercising more and taking better care of myself, even though I had no motivation to do so. And then I started seeing a counselor, and I'm not seeing her anymore, but I did go just like while all that was happening. And then I also saw a doctor, and I got on antidepressants, and I'm not even ashamed. Let me tell you what I take. Hang on. Okay. So I'm going to show you what medications I take. I still take, and it has made a world of difference. I feel like that was the key. I was in despair. Seriously, I am not exaggerating. Like, I was not suicidal, but I was making a plan, if that makes sense. It's horrible. I just want to cry thinking about it. I was just like reaching out for a lifeline. It was just horrible. So anyway, I'm going to tell you the medications that I'm taking in case any of you not that you need to go take these medications, but talk to your doctor. The first thing I started on was something called hydroxyzine. And what that is like an antihistamine, but it has an effect that lessens anxiety. And that helped a little bit. It helped a very little bit. It was just like a pebble in a pond, but it was something that was slightly helpful when I was feeling like I couldn't decide if I was really depressed or in a continuous panic attack. I was just a mess inside. Okay, so these are the medications that I take. So the first one is an antidepressant, and I have taken antidepressants before, over the years, and the reason is because I suffer from anxiety, and like especially when my kids were little, I would get very anxious. Nothing like this. It had an explanation. I wasn't crying all the time. I just maybe was just very anxious, and I'd trade that any day for what I went through. So I've taken like little antidepressants because depression and anxiety they treat them exactly the same. So this is what I take. I think this is the antidepressant. It's venlafaxine, ER, 150 milligram capsules. And I take this once a day, and I take it at bedtime. And it's in here. And the other thing that I take, and this might scare some of you, is lamotrigine, 100 milligram tablets. This is a low dose, and this was the thing that I had a chemical imbalance too, obviously, because this was like a light switch. I felt so much better when I started taking this. And this, I haven't Googled a long time what it does, but I'm gonna try to tell you off the top of my head. It's actually for schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, and I don't have either of those. I've never been diagnosed with those, not that there's any shame in that, but it can also be used for severe depression, and that's what I had, was severe depression. And I take this twice a day. I take it in the morning and I take it at night, and it's a mood stabilizer. And so this has been a godsend, and I feel so much better, but I don't want to go off them, because when you go off medicines like these, when you're feeling good, it's really not the right time, because then I can slump back into a major depression again. It's all still so fresh. So that's what I take. And then the other thing that I did is I've never done group fitness before. And so I joined Pure Barre and started working out consistently. And I loved it so much that sometimes I would go twice a day. I mean, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I joined, I started meeting people, just talking to people all the time. And everybody's so lovely there. It's just ladies. It's for men too, but a lot of men don't join. A lot of them will try it and then not come back. In fact, I've only seen a man once, but it's all ladies, and they're all lovely. They all really are. I've never had anybody treat me rudely or anything like that, and I've gotten to know so many of them. And so that, obviously anxiety and depression is lessened when you exercise. You get good endorphins, you start to feel better about yourself. So that was something I incorporated too. And then I decided I needed a job and got a job at Pure Barre. So that has made a change too. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else. Talking to my husband, talking to my children, kind of letting them know what's going on and not keeping it a secret. Telling my mom, telling my dad, telling some of my sister-in-laws who I feel particularly close to. I didn't blurt it out to everyone I know. My really good friends know. And now that I'm feeling better, I tell people, because you never know. Like, I would walk around looking just like I look right now, minus the crying all the time. But whenever I had to go run errands, or I could pull it together, and people didn't know. I just was just like I am now, friendly, and I hate to say kind, because some people may disagree, but friendly and kind, and smile at people. And so it was kind of hidden to everyone else. And I think that there's a lot of people walking around just like that, and they're really hurting inside. So one thing that, it's cliche, you read those little memes and things like that, and it's such an antidote that you never know what someone else is going through, so always be kind. And I really take that to heart now, because you really never know. And I don't want to be that person who might push someone deeper into their sadness. So that's my story. I think I told you guys when I started disappearing a little bit from YouTube, that I was working and that I was feeling sad and things like that, but I never shared like the magnitude of it. And if you have any questions or comments about that, please leave them below, and maybe I can help. I can't give out medical advice. I am a nurse, but I still can't give out medical advice. I can only share my own experience. So I'd be happy to do that. Okay, I'm gonna jump in and share with you some things that I absolutely have to have now that I'm over 50. And if you're over 50, you might be able to relate with some of these. So I was gonna do just 5 things, but honestly, I could think of so many. So I'm really just trying to keep it to things that I purchase again and again, and if I don't have them, I kind of freak out a little bit. So I'm gonna go with the first thing, because this thing is a big deal to me. And maybe some of you can relate to this, but maybe some of you can't, because when I ask my girlfriends or family or things like that, some people are like, yeah, I have that too. And some people are like, oh, no. So I think it's like a genetic thing, or just like an imbalance of hormones. But I get like some chin hairs, and I'm not ashamed to say it. My name is Dawn, and I suffer from chin hairs. And I always had like 1 or 2, like somewhere around here, even in my 20s. And as soon as I would feel them, I would pluck them out. There was like 2 of them, and that was it. And that just stayed the same until I got into my late 40s, which of course is perimenopause, and then now into my 50s, menopause. So I started to get more. I started to get a little patch like right here, and there's probably like 5 of them. Plus I have like 1 or 2 right here. I get like 3 or 4 here and another one here. And I don't have a full-on beard, but I'm not going to grow them out to see. But I think that if I did grow them out, they'd definitely be noticeable, because I don't have like fuzz or anything on my face. But when those little hairs pop through, they're very coarse and thick and wiry, and they feel a little bit sharp. It's almost like a splinter. Like if you have a splinter in your skin and you go like this and you can feel it, that's what it feels like. So as soon as I can feel it, I start to freak out. My friend Beth laughs at me so much, because I tell her all this. And I'm like, if I'm ever unconscious in the hospital and you notice that I'm growing chin hairs, your job is to come, and when people are in the room, pluck them out. You have to do it. And she is committed, I hope. I think I should tell someone else though, in case she gets busy, but I don't want them to grow out at all. So I do have this mirror. It's a very, very strong magnifying mirror. I think it's like 15 times stronger than any like magnifying mirror. And what you see, it's like almost looks blurry when you look at it, but when you look really close up, you can see every single thing, every pore. It's actually a bad thing if you're a picker, because my daughter has one of these and she tends to pick at things, and she picks because she can see every single thing, even things that other people can't see. So I try not to ever do that. Sometimes I do, but I do. It suction cups to my big mirror in my bathroom, and I actually climb up into my sink and sit really close to it, and I look into it, and my Tweezerman tweezers, you always have to have these, have to have this, and the good is that they're very easy. Sometimes they're so thick and coarse though, it's like I really have to tug. If you want to click out right now, feel free. This is like so gross. But anyways, I remove them. I always make sure, and honestly, because I don't remove them all at once, just as they come through, if I feel one coming through, I mean, I could be up there by this mirror every single evening after I do my, what I do is I wash my face, and then I go up to the mirror and take care of business, and then I jump down and I do all my skincare. But sometimes I'm up there every night because some of them come in at different times. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'm sure some of you can relate. If you'd like to say I can relate, I appreciate that, so I don't feel alone in this. So that's the first thing, and I cannot live without it. I travel with it. If we go on vacation, if I go to visit one of my daughters and they don't have that, one of my daughters does not have good lighting, so even though I have that, it's still difficult, and I kind of come back with a beard. I'm only kidding, but I do come back with them kind of poking through a little more than I want them to. Nobody could probably see them unless I grew them out, honestly, but I'm not letting them grow out. So that's the first thing. Okay, the second thing that I can't live without are collagen peptides. And I read that the kind of collagen you should get, the best collagen, is bovine collagen. There's different types of collagen, but this is grass-fed and pasture-raised collagen peptides, and mine is in the flavor peach mango. And I put a scoop. I don't like the way it tastes. Like, I don't want to drink this. To me, it feels like, I don't know, I just don't like it. But it's for hair, skin, nails, and joint support. And it dissolves easily. It's vibrant and refreshing, and there's 30 servings. So what I do is I fill a glass, like my giant Yeti, it's not in here, with ice and water, and I put a pack of Crystal Light. I flavor the water, and then I'll put like one heaping spoonful in there so the Crystal Light kind of masks it. It's not really the flavor as much as it's like what it almost, it's kind of like drinking collagen, you know what I mean? It feels like there's something in there, like gelatin or something, like that kind of like gelatin before it sets, and I don't like that, but I think it's really important to take. I used to have chewables that were more like, I might get those next time. They're a little more like Starbursts. And it's like a treat, and you eat like 2 of them every evening, and that's so much better. And I think I'm gonna go back to that when this is gone. But I think it does make a difference. We lose collagen and peptides that our skin normally makes as we age, and supplementing that is important, I think. So I do it even though I don't like it. So it's just something I do. And you know, it's something that you could do, I think, is if you don't like it the way I don't, is mix just a little bit in a glass of water and then just chug it down. I should just do that. Just get it over with, like taking your medicine. So that's one thing that I do, and I think it's really important, and I don't plan to ever stop. And now the other thing is a retinol, retinaldehyde, or Retin A. And I've been using those kinds of products ever since I was in my 20s. I started using Retin A in my like late teens, early 20s, when they first were found to like decrease wrinkles and clear. It always was known to kind of clear up acne and stuff. And I was acne prone when I was that age because I have very oily skin, not now that I'm older, but when I was younger. And so I got Retin A to take care of that. And then I just kind of kept using it throughout my 20s, and I never had a problem with it because my skin was oily, and it never really dried out my skin the way it does for a lot of people. And then I kind of stopped in my 30s because I had 5 pregnancies in my 30s, and so I was nursing or pregnant most of the time, and I went to like a retinol, and then back onto Retin A in my 40s. And when I got into my late 40s, Retin A started to become harsher on my skin, and I used the lowest, like 0.01%. I used to use 0.05, but I can only use it, like if I use it, I can only use it once or twice a week at the most. And it does kind of dry out my skin. I just don't like the way my skin feels after I use it. So what I really like better is the Aven Retinol. And what this is a retinaldehyde, and retinaldehyde is the closest thing to tretinoin. It only takes one conversion step to become tretinoin, and it can and does do it, and it doesn't have the harshness. And this is really nice. It's made by Aven. It's my favorite, and I get the 0.05. Let me see. Yeah, 0.05, but there is a 0.1 that's stronger, and I don't like that one. I don't feel I need to use a stronger one, but I feel like because I've used this my whole entire adult life, not just this, but Retin A or retinol, things like that, I feel like I've always used it, so I don't need to use a stronger one because I think it's the consistency that matters most. So I would just say get what your skin tolerates, even if it's just like drugstore retinol, and incorporate it into your routine consistently, because with our skincare, consistency is what matters most. So this is what I use, but I've always used a vitamin A derivative, and that's what this is. All of these are vitamin A derivatives. So I use that, and I will never stop using that. It's a must-have. Okay, now if you use that, you absolutely must use sunblock on your skin, and I have a new favorite, but I always use sunblock, and I'm not super picky about it, as long as I like the way it looks underneath my makeup. And the one I'm using right now, it's new to me. This is the Aveeno Protect and Hydrate Sunscreen SPF 60, and it's a broad spectrum UVA, UVB protection for your face. And it's a weightless formula, and it feels really good under my makeup, and it's really hydrating too, and it doesn't sit on top of my skin or pill or anything like that. It really soaks in. So I wash my face, I spritz a little toner on my face, I'll apply my serum, and then I apply this. And if I need any additional moisturizer, but this has been really good. I do moisturize a lot more at night because I'm not using this, but it's a must. I'll never stop using sunblock. The other thing that I do, and I'm very consistent with, that I haven't always been consistent with, is sunglasses that block your UVA, UVB rays and are polarized. I just like them to be polarized. And I just got a new pair from Coach, and they were on sale, and they're so cute. I think they're so pretty. This is how they look. They have these little flowers here, and I think that's so pretty. And they're big, and I like that they're big because it covers a lot of surface area. So this is how they look, and it covers like the tops of my cheeks where the sun would normally hit, and I can get freckles, and I do have freckles there. But it just has like a lot of coverage, and I have my hair, I'm growing my bangs out again if you haven't noticed, but my hair normally covers like the sides. I do have a sun hat, but it's just spring right now. I'm not wearing a sun hat. In the summer I do. But these are a must-have. Not these particular ones, but big sunglasses like this are very important. So I just got this pair, and I really like them a lot. So it's been encouraging me to wear them more. So I really like that. Okay, I'm going back to hair, facial hair. And this is probably even more gross because now we're going to talk about nose hair. So, okay, I'm just gonna say it. I have nose hair. I think everyone does, and it's a really good thing to have. It protects you from bacteria, like things just getting it, people sneeze and you're inhaling it, and that's like your first barrier of protection from viruses and stuff like that. But they can get long, especially as I'm getting older, just like everything else. My beard gets long. I don't have a mustache, strangely enough. I don't need to pluck here, but I pray that I won't get a mustache. And I did read, just back to the chin hairs, that once they're there, the only way to get rid of them is like electrolysis or plucking or things like that. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to pluck. But once they're there, you can't get rid of them. But by balancing your hormones and stuff, you can prevent more. And I am on a low-dose birth control pill for hormone replacement therapy. And my doctor is fine with that. I'm fine with that. It controls my negative symptoms. I never got night sweats, but what I get is cold. Like I suddenly just start shivering and be really cold and throw something on. And that's like my version of a hot flash. Or cold flashes, but it's like the same phenomenon. It's something going on in my body, and that's just the way it feels, and I react to it. So I don't get those anymore. I sleep through the night. That was another thing. And, I had like some dry mouth symptoms, and it took care of that. And so that's what I do, and it kind of prevents more hairs from forming because my hormones are balanced. So this is what I have, and this is from Conair. And you just take this little thing, turn it on, and you can just kind of control the length of your nose hair. And so I do this religiously because I don't want to have long nose hairs coming out of my nose or anything like that. I've never tested to see how long they'll get, and I don't plan to. So these are all just like kind of preventive things. So I do that. And then the other thing I do is this big old box of Tinkle razors. I always have these. If you go back in my videos from even when I started my channel, I talked about these, and I just ordered them on Amazon. And these are not for microblading. Like some people get real like razors for microblading. I would never do that myself because they're very, very, very sharp. And I would probably just cut my face up. But these are really wonderful for peach fuzz. So I do get like a little bit of peach fuzz. Nothing that people would notice. It doesn't bother me a lot, but I feel like my foundation and my makeup looks so much better without the peach fuzz. So, and I get some like here where my eyebrow attaches to my hairline. And so I just kind of put my hand here and then same thing. And it also micro exfoliates your skin. I get a little fuzz here, but it's not coarse or black or anything like that. And I take that off too. I don't use this for my chin hairs, the coarse ones, like you could, but I don't because that would just cut it off where it's coming out and I want to get it out at the root. So I don't use it for that. But it does micro exfoliate like some dead skin cells off your face. And you can like see things like after you see like fuzz, and you can also see like some skin cells. I know I'm grossing you guys out so much today, but that's how that works. And I was going to tell you something else about it. But anyways, I use these religiously. I will always have these. They're must-haves for, in my opinion, my over 50 self. So that's something else I do. Okay, let's talk exfoliation again. Something else I always have, if I could show you the empties of these, I would have 2 huge bags full, like Target bags or something like that. And it's from The Ordinary, and it's the glycolic acid 7% exfoliating toner. And I use this every single night after I wash my face. I take a cotton ball and put some on. You can squirt it out at the top, but I just take it off and put my cotton ball on just a little bit. And you could see, you know, it's almost gone, or it's 3/4 of the way gone. And then I take that cotton ball and I just go over my entire face, and it dissolves any dead skin cells kind of hanging on. So like if I have some dead skin cells that I see in here, some flakes or something, it just kind of dissolves them. And then I rinse my face because I don't really like the way it makes my skin feel tacky afterwards. So after I go through the process, I rinse it off. And then I use a regular like hydrating toner, spray it on my face, and then get on with my skincare. So this is a must-have. And then I really like the Sunday Riley Good Jeans. I recently talked about this, but Derma E makes a really nice one too. If I can find it, I'll link it below. They're lactic acid serums, and this is from Good Jeans, and it's the all-in-one lactic acid treatment. Deeply exfoliates for clarity and radiance and younger looking skin. It visibly brightens the appearance of dark spots, instantly plumps the look of fine lines and wrinkles. And it does. I believe the claims. And I love this one. It's a little more pricey, but you use so little of it. And I only use it a few times a week at night when I'm sleeping. So I will always use some type of exfoliating product like this. The only ones that I've used is the Derma E, which the ingredients are nearly exact. I hope they still make it. I haven't purchased that one in a long time. And in fact, if I had thought about it when I was getting this, I probably would have gotten that one. It's a lot less expensive, but this was on sale when I picked it up, and I love this product. So this is something, this type of product with a lactic acid, because lactic acid is derived from milk, and although it does some gentle exfoliation, it also hydrates. So it's really good to have in your routine. And then the other thing that I will never go without, it's not this brand particular, just a really good moisturizer. This one's from Laneige, and it has collagen in it and peptides, and I use it for hydration. This is the Water Bank, and I just put it all over my face. First Aid Beauty makes a really nice one that I love too, and you can find that at TJ Maxx or Marshall's, but I love the First Aid Beauty one. Check there before you go to Sephora. But moisturizer. important. I love to moisturize my skin. I do it at night, I do it in the morning, and I can't live without it. And then the next thing is, as we get older, our teeth can start to look funky. So going to the dentist and getting your cleanings, which I'm behind in, by the way, so I'm I need to follow my own advice. Go to the dentist for your cleanings regularly and have your teeth checked, especially through menopause. Our mouths get drier. It's just really good to take care of your teeth. But as we get older, our teeth can start to get discolored just because we're older and they've been with us all these years. I always use the Crest 3D white strips, and this is the express whitening, and they come in little packets like this, and there's 2 of them in here, an upper and a lower. They adhere very well to my teeth. After I brush my teeth and floss my teeth in the evening, I do a round of these like seasonally. I make sure that my mouth is dry and there's not like a lot of saliva or anything on my teeth, and I apply the upper and the lower and just wait. I just wait. I think it's like they say 30 minutes or an hour. It's somewhere like that. It's usually around 45 minutes or something, and I just want to take them off and drink something or whatever. So I do one of these packs of these seasonally, and it really helps keep my teeth white. But between the seasonal use of that, once or twice a week, I use this Crest 3D white pen. It's a teeth whitening pen, and I'm sure you guys have seen these. It's like a little brush here, and you twist this and some gel comes up. And again, you just make sure your teeth are really kind of dry, and you just go over them. I just go over the front ones and apply this all over. And then it kind of gets like sticky, so it sticks to your teeth. And then I just don't drink anything for about a half an hour or so. Usually I feel like once you start drinking some water, it just kind of rinses off. I don't go into the bathroom and do anything crazy like rinse it off or anything. So white teeth is very important as you age because it makes you look younger and healthier. And health, like I sometimes watch YouTubers who are so focused on beauty, and it's really great to look your best, but that is not what's important, especially as we get older. My goal is not to look 20 or look that like a young person. My goal is to look my healthiest and be my healthiest, because health is beautiful. So if your skin is healthy, your teeth are healthy, go to your eye exams, get your eyes checked, your eyes are healthy, keep your hair healthy, and you're going to look good. Keep your weight healthy. And I think that's another thing, exercising and eating right. That's a big one, because if we gain weight and lose weight rapidly, and over time you do it again and again, it kind of is like a balloon where you blow it up and then deflate it, or blow it up and it just kind of gets like saggy. And that's what happens to us because we don't have the collagen and elastin in our skin like we did when we were younger. And so your skin can get like that. So it's really important to keep your weight consistent. I do within like a 2 to 5 pound, depending on what's happening, it fluctuates. But I do try to keep my weight healthy. I don't have any goals to be super skinny. I just want to be strong, again, healthy. But sometimes I watch beauty videos, even in the over 40 and 50 community, where certain people are just so focused on beauty and looking young. And I don't know, they leave out the rest, because really, we all know those people that maybe when you first see them, you wouldn't say that's a really beautiful woman or whatever. But once you get to know that person, they become so beautiful. And they're just like so beautiful that you don't see anything but their beauty. And the inner beauty is what really matters. Being kind, being helpful, and not in a fake way, but just really caring about people. And how can you care about people if you don't, if you don't care about people? And I would say that my faith is a big part of it. And I'm a Christian, so, I'm transformed, by the Holy Spirit. So it kind of comes through me naturally, and it's true and it's real. And I think people can sense that. We all know people who seem fake, and your radar goes up, and you're kind of like, something's just not right. You can sense it. I feel like some people, it's like they want to be that way and they're faking it till they make it. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I feel like somebody trying to be kind and loving in a non-manipulative way that's a really great start. You know, the more you practice loving others, the easier it is. I mean, honestly, I think about ways that I can be loving to others. And it might not be something that naturally happens, but it's something that you can kind of cultivate within yourself. So inner beauty trumps everything else. It trumps all of this. Chin hairs, nose hairs, dead skin cells hanging on, you know, green teeth. Inner beauty trumps it all. But I think it does help to look your best, because someone who really cares about themselves and takes care of themselves, it can attract, you know, other people, and then it allows you to get to know people and make friends. So I think that's really good. And so yeah, I'm not gonna go off on another tangent. Lastly, I've gone over so many things. I still have more, but keep your hair in good shape. Get your trims. If your hair's gray, fine. If you color your hair, fine. Just keep it healthy, because as we get older, hair can change. And sometimes I will think to myself, I can tell someone's age by their hair. Like if you're ever walking behind someone and you see their hair, you can tell, is this a 20-year-old girl? Is this someone in their 30s and 40s? Or is this someone 50, 60, 70? You can tell. Just try it, you can tell. But I think there are ways to keep your hair its healthiest. And for me, using a really moisturizing shampoo and conditioner, just keeping moisture. I don't use heat on my hair. I know some people have to. I don't, and it helps keep it healthy. And I also use like hair treatments, and I have two. One of my favorites is the Trader Joe's Shea Butter Coconut Oil Hair Mask. Moisturizes and revitalizes dry, damaged hair. It's deep conditioning for soft, silky hair, and it has vitamin E in it too. It looks like this. It smells like coconut. It's lovely. I absolutely love this. And if I use this on my hair, when I go to rinse it out, it's like silk. Like my hair just, it's like the way it runs down in your hair just feels like silk as it's rinsing out. And if you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, I really like the Not Your Mother's apple one. It's called something in apple. I'll link it. Comes in a little jar and it's green and it says Not Your Mother's something apple deep hair conditioning mask, and I love that one too. And even if I don't want a mask, like walk around my house with conditioner in my hair for a really long time, sometimes just using it in the shower and leaving it on while you do your other stuff, then it's really good. And then you know what, I'm gonna save the last thing that I do for another day, because this video is so long. I hope that you got some good ideas. Share with me what you do to look your best over the age of 40, 50, or even if you're younger, what you do to try to prevent, you know, aging quicker. And yeah, thank you so much for spending some time with me. Leave your comments below. I love interacting with you. It's the only way that I get to know you. You see me here, but I don't see you, but I know you when you're in the comments. So thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Have a blessed and beautiful day.